and welcome to this video. I completely forgot to film an intro for this one, so you get a little bit of a voiceover. But basically what is happening today is, because I don't have a lot of crafty things to show you, I haven't really done much knitting or sewing in the last week, I thought I would go through some hibernating whips that I have sitting around in my Ravelry account and perhaps dig them out and see what I can get rid of. So without further ado, enjoy. So here we have my Ravelry project page. I thought we could go through this together before I go digging through all of my whip areas. I thought maybe I'd just do a bit of an explanation of what these are. There is a few of them here. What does that work out to be? About 20 projects that I have here. And some of them are here for different reasons. Some of them are here because they're very close to being finished and I just have not finished them off. So these Mewstone socks here, they are basically back on the hibernation list because, as you can see here, they're at 100%. I knit these toe up and somehow the heel, I don't know how this happened, do not ask me, but the heel and the toes have turned perpendicular, so they are not in a straight line. So I think I'm actually intending to frog these socks that I have knit and re-knit them. So that will obviously jump back onto my active whips list because, yeah, I just need to find them, frog them and recast them on. The Oakwood poncho is something that's been going for a really, really long time. If we have a quick look, if I can open up this page, apparently my computer doesn't want to work. So I cast this on in February 2018, and I say that I've finished it on May 2021 because I've actually finished the body of this poncho. It is actually finished, but what I need to do is cut little pieces to make tassels for the ends. But I have since realised I'm probably not going to wear that poncho. So this one may get frogged before I cut all the individual pieces that go onto the fringe. Triangulum blanket, that is one that I mentioned in last week's episode when I was talking about my safe space blanket. This one I'm not entirely sure I'm going to keep going with. I have started it. I don't have enough scraps. I've actually created so many scrap blanket projects that I've actually run out of scrap. So I'm going to need to rethink that or keep it on hibernation almost indefinitely until I decide what's going on. This is a sweater that I started knitting for Granger. I have finished the top and the underside, I believe, or I'm nearly finished the underside because it's two pieces that then get seamed. And so this is nearly done, but because it is not winter, I am not seeing that as a big priority to get done because, clearly Granger does not need a new sweater in the middle of summer. The bubble cardigan here, I have that on hibernation because as I was knitting it, my gauge felt really loose and it appears that the cardigan is becoming very, very big. So I am considering frogging this and restarting. That is something that I have to think about because I have a feeling that it's going to come out far too big and it's going to be very saggy on me. I know it's kind of an oversized cardigan anyway, but I think I need to either rethink my gauge, the needle that I'm knitting on, or change the size down so that it fits better. The crochet project bag, that is something that's kind of been put on the back burner because I cannot crochet for very long. If you've been around this place for a very long time, you will know that I do have a lot of issues with pain in my hands, and crochet is one of the things that creates that pain. So the V-back tee, that is another one that I started knitting. These are some beautiful yarns that I got from Hedgehog Fibers. They are really gorgeous yarns. However, I do not think I'm going to wear the finished object. The way it's knitting up is not something that I would wear. So I think this is definitely going to go into the frog pond. Beekeeper's quilt, very, very long term project. It's not going to be finished anytime soon, so it's basically into hibernation because I work on that on and off. I don't put it back into active and then back into hibernation. If I'm making hexagons, I just leave it in hibernation. The slouchy pullover is actually something that I could potentially get finished quite quickly. It is being knit in chunky yarn. Dish sponges, now this is a pattern that I'm actually writing, so this should get finished pretty soon because I do want to get that pattern published. This other sweater for Granger, I have no idea what it is. I think it's tucked away upstairs. The cowl for Simon, I believe, also is tucked away upstairs. The movie blanket is something that I've worked on for a really, really long time. 2016 I cast that on, so it's been nearly 7 years since that started, and I think I lost steam on it because I didn't end up loving the colours that I chose. My taste of yarn, obviously from not yarn but colours, has changed quite a bit in the last 7 years, as you guys, if you've been following my podcast since 2016 when I actually started it. Yes, I have come kind of full circle. I'm now a pink, black, grey kind of girl, so these are not vibing with me, so I've just not enjoyed working on the project. River jumper. Now this is a beautiful pattern. We'll have a quick squiz at the pattern. It is lovely, but I just don't know if that is something that I'm going to wear. I love the cables. They're so beautiful. I feel like it's slightly kind of like a cropped style. Like, to me, that seems kind of cropped, even though I suppose technically it's not. But I just kind of feel like with the bottoms that I have and that I generally wear, that this top may or may not really work with them. So this one's a bit up in the air. I think I will finish it because I have got quite a bit of it done. So I think I might finish it and see how we go. If I don't like it, I can always frog it at that stage. This one is already in the state of being frogged. It's possibly going to get thrown away because of the crochet is very tight, and because the stitches are so tiny, it's very hard to pull apart because I've seemed to have split the yarn. So that one will probably just either get thrown away or frogged. The Linem tee, I don't even remember starting that. I can't even honestly remember what it looks like. I think it's from something from Knit Scene. Yeah, exactly, yep. So, yeah, I mean, I may wear something like that. So if I can find it, I don't know where it is, what colour it is. What colour is it? Let's have a look. Plum. So it's in a dusky kind of purple. I don't know. Maybe I would still wear that. It's almost verging on grey, so maybe. Granny stripe blanket, again a long-term blanket whip. The vivid blanket, this is all hand spun, so I am currently in the process of spinning the yarn that I'm going to use to join all of my squares. So I've got like a charcoal coloured yarn that I'm going to use to join them all, so that is still being spun. The squares are not complete either. I could probably pull that out and finish those squares off pretty quickly. And my little dude, my little cat, I think I will finish him simply because I have made his head. He has his eyes and his face, so I think it would be unfair to not finish him. Hello! We are up in my bedroom, as you might be able to maybe tell that I'm on my bed. And I thought what we could do is go through the box at the end of my bed, which is kind of like it was an old toy box that I had when I was a kid. And I have been using it for some of my whips that I have been holding on to. So I thought what we could do is have a quick look in there and see if we can find any of the stuff that we've just had a look at. And we can maybe put them into piles of frog, continue to knit. I have become a little bit, I'm reticent to cast on anything new until I clear some of this backlog, because as I showed you, there were about 20 projects. Some of those were long-term blanket projects, obviously will stay as they were on that hibernation list. but the rest I think I would like to get off. But for now, let's get having a look in that box. I know I do have some other whips in my second bedroom, so that's going to take some digging for me to get those out. I may do that today, or that may be a part 2 to this, so we will see how we go with the very first box, and let's get on to that now. Okay, so here we are. I am on the floor. I'm just shifted Granger's bed, but there is this box that is just here in front of me. It's like a padded top old toy box. So there's a lot of whips in here, but let's go through and have a look. Okay, straight up, these are the washcloths that, there goes a stitch marker, that I was talking about. So these are a crocheted cotton like dish sponge that I have been working on a pattern for. This is just some more cotton, so now that I know that I have that, and that was one of my goals for this year, was to get this pattern written up, I'm going to bring that out with me. I'm not going to leave that up here. So I do have some cross stitch whips, but that's not really what we're talking about today. This is one that has been going for quite a while. Let's have a look what is in here. I think this is the movie blanket, the one that I said is not the colours. Yes, so I have found this one. This one is so far into being finished that I'm probably going to just go ahead and finish this up and then gift it, donate it, whatever. This is just an empty knitted project bag with a unicorn. See, my goth unicorn, isn't he cute? I'm gonna rescue him and take him downstairs with me, I think. And this is the river sweater. So I have done, I think I'm most of the body, most of the way up the body. I'm using this really lovely yarn. It is one of my favourites. It's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes non-superwash. So I do really quite like this yarn. The colour is fun. And I'm probably nearly at the bust. It's probably under the bust. So that one, like I said, I'm probably going to continue knitting. Okay, so this is the vivid blanket that I was talking about. I've got most of my pieces here. I've got a couple. I have one of my minis. This was hand spun. So I don't know why that's out of the bag. So there are the squares. So this has been going for a really long time, this project. I think that was at least 2016, 2017. Okay, so this is one of Granger's sweaters that I have here. Some needle ends, so I know where some of my needle tips have gone. So I'm working on the bottom portion of that. This one may or may not keep going, because I know when I started knitting the one with the colour work that I showed you on the project page, I did go down a needle size for that one. So this one I might do the same, because the ones that I've knit here before, that I've knit on the needle size that this is knit on, stretch out quite a bit. So I think I might frog this and re-knit it on the smaller needles that I'm using for the Captain Granger one. So here's the Linus tee. I haven't really started it at all, so that one probably will get frogged, I think. I will pull this apart. There is not much point this far out from when it was cast on keeping going when it is so much in its infancy. This is the cowl that I have started knitting for Simon. I'm not entirely sure what is going on here. For some reason I have 2 clips in it and I'm not quite sure why that is. So this looks like it's pretty close to being done. Looks like I've run out of yarn. So if I run out of yarn, there's no way I can join this together. So this is going to be something that will probably get frogged. There we go. That is the yarn that is being used for the river sweater. So it's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in Blossom Heather. Alright, well that's all that's in here. As for knitting whips, yeah, so that is all that I have in here. Whew. Alright, so what is the plan? So now I just need to dig into the spare bedroom and see if I can find some other whips. Wish me luck, pray for me. I might be back, I might not. I found the box. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was, so that is Great. And if I can empty this out, that is one less thing that is in my second bedroom. So I'm pleased, I'm excited. Right on top here is I have the poncho that I spoke to you about that I don't think I'm actually going to ever wear. So I remember I found this and I wanted to finish it because it had been on the needles for so long. So the poncho itself is complete. So it's got like this brioche collar, and then it has like these color work patches on the bottom. It's very hot, but I'm going to put this over my shoulders just to see what I think. I mean, it is very lovely, I have to say. I do quite like it. I just don't think I'm ever gonna wear it. I mean, I just don't know. Like, I don't tend to like, this is why I think I've gravitated away from cardigans, is I don't like things flapping around me. Like, I do like to have a certain degree of movement and availability to move, that I don't particularly like floppy things like this around me. I don't want to catch on things. I always find when I'm wearing my cardigans, yeah, this is coming off, when I'm wearing my cardigans that I tend to get them caught on things. I move quite quickly around my house. My house is not very big. I move quite quickly, so it's not only in my house, it could be anybody's house. I've caught myself on door handles in my mother-in-law's house, so I really don't think this is going to get much wear because, like I said, cardigans, flapping things, not really my jam. I tend to find myself gravitating towards pullovers, sweaters that aren't going to get in the way, generally that have good tight cuffs around my wrists so I can't get my arms stuck on door handles when I open doors, etc, etc. So I think this is going to go to the frog pond. This is also Wool of the Andes, but it's in their tweed, the tweed yarn. So this will definitely get used for something else, and I probably will even keep the colours together because I did buy this as a kit from Knit Picks, so they sent all the yarn that I would need to knit this. So I think what I will do is frog this and look for some sort of pattern that I can use all the colours in, because I do quite like the greys. Definitely I love the greys. The blue, yeah, could leave the blue, but yeah, I would probably still wear something made out of this yarn in these colours. So this is the fringe that I was telling you. I had to cut a bunch of little bits of yarn and just hook them into the end to give it a fringe. But I think something within me knew not to continue with that because I didn't think I was going to wear the finished object, and that was chopping up my yarn basically. This is non-superwash, I believe, so I can spit join the ends, but who wants to spend the time putting all these tiny ends together? Not me. So I think I'm going to add that to the frog pile. This is a big one. What is in here? Oh my goodness. I think I found all my scraps, guys. I thought I'd run out of scraps, but have a look in here. I have got so many scraps in here. Okay, so this is the granny stripe blanket that I'd been working on. Okay, so that's why all the scraps are in here. I think I must have just been putting the scraps into this bag instead of my scrap container. And that's why I feel like I've got no scraps, because they were all in here. Okay, well that makes sense. So I think what I might do is pull out all of the scraps and add them back to the proper place they're supposed to be, so that I can actually find them for different projects instead of having them all bogarted for this blanket. Okay, so I've got 2 crochet hooks in here. Alright, so let's pull out. Oh, it looks like I've got another project in here actually. Okay, pulling out all the scraps, it appears I might have started one of those little Battenberg cake projects. I think they will get frogged because I need a new blanket project, like a hole in the head. So I think I'm going to frog those and just use those as scraps. Oh god, I've got quite a bit of this done actually. It's very wide. It's incredibly wide. I think this was made to fit on my queen size bed. I think that is what I have done. I've made it wide enough for that. So I will pop that away back into its bag. And I think that's something that I will bring out to do some more work on when the weather gets a little bit cooler, because that is definitely not something I want to deal with right now. And I will put my crochet hooks back where they belong so that I know where they are. That is the problem that I have with so many of these whips, is I've got needles all over the place, and then when I want to cast something on, I can't find my needles because they are hidden in all these places. Alright, so this is the V-neck tee, my hibernation list. So you can see how beautiful the yarn is. It is really delightful, but I just don't think I'm going to wear this. In Australia, I think it might be different in other places, but I know I see a lot of people describing in the US on podcasts and things. I used to hear it all the time, that things are perfect for like wearing a shawl in the evenings in summer when it gets cool. And it's like, Australia doesn't get like that at all. Like, we can literally be close to 30 on really hot days. We can be close to 30 degrees Celsius until midnight or after. So like, we are hot overnight. It is very, very hot overnight. So wearing knitted t-shirts and things like that, unless you're wearing it in very late autumn or very early spring, it's not really a thing that I find anyway is really suitable for Australia. So I think I'm going to frog this. The yarn is, like I said, beautiful, so I think what I will do is probably put it into a shawl, because I would probably enjoy that a lot better. I don't wear a lot of shawls. I should wear my shawls more often because I do love a shawl. But I think that is what I'm going to do. And I will actually get back some needles as well, so that would be great. I have something else cast on in linen, and I don't know what that is. Oh yes, no, I do remember what this is. This was for a knit along that I was doing. I can't remember what the pattern is called. I'll put it down here. I had read that a lot of people were having issues with the pattern and having it fit properly in the arm side, and I think I just gave up on it because I figured that if they're having problems, I'll probably be having problems, because obviously I have chunkier arms, so I never went through with this. So this will get frogged. Quick battery change and we are back. So it looks like I have found a pair of socks with a pair of sock blockers. So that answers the question as to where my second set of sock blockers are. So these are also a pair of socks that I can now put in my sock drawer, because I'm actually losing a bunch of socks. I've been really good with my socks for many, many years and never had holes, never got any issues with them. They all lasted me a really long time, to the point where I was ending up with 40 plus pairs of socks in my sock drawer, but they are all slowly beginning to give up the ghost. So that is good that I found another pair of socks that I can add to my drawer, so they can go there for later, and these guys can maybe go in here so I know where they are. Oh, I found my clipboard and spilled coffee. I mean, why not? But that clipboard is actually quite handy. I do use that clipboard quite a bit when I know where it is. I have some cotton in here. Again, I think this could be making, yes, this is for making the crochet dish sponges. Oh my goodness, I've got so many skeins of yarn in here. I don't even know what this is. Is this mine? Did I dye this? I have no idea what this is. Okay, that is definitely bubble cardigan yarn. That is one of the V-neck tee yarns, so I'll put that with that. Another one of those. More crazy coloured yarn. Bubble cardigan stuff from our bed that we bought 3 years ago. Don't ask. Okay, bubble cardigan. I have found the bubble cardigan. So that is something that I need to investigate. I need to figure out whether that is going to be frogged or whether that is going to be continued, because I do love the finished item. I really, really do love the bubble cardigan, and I'm really happy with the colours that I chose. But yeah, like I said, I'm just worried about the gauge, because I feel like the stitches are very big and airy, and it's just going to stretch because it is singles yarn as well. So I think that's just going to stretch all out of shape, and I'm just not going to enjoy it when it's finished. So I think I would rather inspect this, see how close I am to the gauge that was asked for in the pattern, and then frog it or go down a size or something to try and adjust this. I've got another project bag Right, okay, so this is probably going to be de-stash yarn, I think. I was knitting, what was it called, the herbarium tea out of this, but I just decided I probably would never wear this purple, so that I think will go to de-stash. Oh, I found a skein of wool and vine yarns. Just hiding out in here, why not? 7 year itch. Okay, so it was the colorway that she created for her 7-year anniversary. So that is what I have here. Okay, I've only got a couple of things left in here, I think. Okay, right. A bobbin collection. Probably because I'm using the yarns off it. I mean, the threads off it. My magnetic pin holder. That is going to be so handy. I wondered where this went. Oh my gosh. I was making makeup pads. This was an old baby bib. I was turning it into makeup pads, like makeup remover pads. I've made 3 of them and I don't think I need to continue making the rest of these, to be honest. Oh, there's some with a different pattern, so maybe I will finish the ones with a different pattern. Look at this bag. This was a Finch Yarns bag, I believe. That's where I got this from. I just love those swans. Oh my goodness, I think this is just a mishmash of things. Okay, so it appears that this is more of the yarn for Granger's sweater. They are not in skeins for some reason. That can go with the frogged Granger sweater, so I know where all the yarn is. Alright, so this is the hand spun that I was using to make my little cat. So his head is probably in here somewhere. Okay, there he is. I have found him. So he's got his ears. His ears are on since the picture that is on Ravelry. More yarn from my river sweater. And I've got 2 skeins of black yarn, which are from my movie blanket. And more, and more. And now I found a bunch of needles and accessories. I found a pom-pom maker. A darning egg, if I was ever to be a big girl and do some darning. A snail tape measure. How cute is he? Look at this little guy. It's like I've got a bunch of needle tips. So some 4mm needle tips, 3.5mm needle tips, 3.75mm needle tips. Oh, I've got a short cable. So these are 40cm ones, so they're good for doing hats and small circumferences. Ruler. For some reason, a bunch of notions. Some snips, some thread snips. 5.5mm cable needle. Oh, and I bought these to go on the bottoms of some knitted slippers. So I guess I should knit myself some slippers and put these on. So that box has been gone through and I think I pretty much found every whip and then some that I was looking for. So now I just have the big job of tidying all of this up. And then I've got these random skeins that I have no idea what they're for. I think that might have been an oopsie skein because it's got that huge green section, which is probably not supposed to happen. I'd say it was supposed to be speckly like this and it got like this. So I think I will leave it there with you guys for now anyway. Alright, I'm back downstairs. I have my computer in front of me. I'm going to show you my new updated hibernating whip screen. So it is a little bit smaller. It is now only, what is that, 13 projects on there now. Now some of them, like I said, the bubble cardigan, we're still going to have to sort of figure out the gauge for that one. And I know the slouchy pullover and the crochet project bag, I believe, are both in a drawer that I have down here, so they're sort of slightly active. The river jumper we're probably going to finish. The hand spun vivid blanket I have brought down. I don't know where my Museum socks are. Like I said, they're probably somewhere in my second bedroom, but I think I'm mostly finished with checking my hibernating whips. So yeah, there's still a few things that are still kind of whips, but they're more in progress. They've been worked on far more recently than those ones that you've just seen me go through. So I think that's all there is really to say. I now need to frog those projects that I am not going to work on, reclaim my needles and get them back in my needle cases and things like that. I guess I will chat to you guys next week. I'm feeling a lot lighter. I feel like a weight has been lifted, that I've gotten rid of some of those whips. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing my old projects. Hopefully you'll see some of those getting finished in the upcoming craft vlogs. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But thank you so much for joining me. If this last little bit has been a bit noisy, it's because my air conditioner's on. I'm a little bit warm after being up digging around in things upstairs, so I just popped the aircon on as a bit of a treat. Happy knitting. I hope you all have a great week, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!